Hello, everybody. Welcome to EDP612 Introduction to Research. My name is Uğur Kale, the course instructor. In the slide, you will see contact information. Please use this information as well as my email if you have any questions. If necessary, we can have a chat or a phone conversation as long as we make an appointment. So, in this presentation, I will give a brief overview about course logistics. First of all, let's talk about what this course is about. In this course, we have two main objectives that we want to achieve. The one is be familiar with the various educational research methodologies, quantitative, qualitative, and different kinds. But most importantly, you're going to be developing a research proposal. Um, this is not going to be an actual research, but a proposal that hopefully you will in the future might be able to conduct. In order to do that, you're going to be working in groups, and I'm going to talk about that later. This is not an individual proposal. This is a proposal that you will be working with other peers of you, at least 2 to 3 other people. All right. So, as you're aware, this is an online course. We are not going to have live sessions unless you and I will have an appointment to talk about an issue or a question that you might have in Skype or on the phone. Uh, all the course requirements, all the course assignments to be completed online asynchronously. We're going to be using eCampus to submit your assignments and seeing the instructions for those assignments. So this is an online course, but which really means a couple of things. Yeah, we're going to be communicating online. Like I said, we're going to be using eCampus. So please do make sure that you check eCampus regularly. There might be announcements that might show up in a day. If you're not looking at it, you might be missing something really important. Likewise, check your emails regularly, every day. That is important. Again, there might be something that I might email, or your peers or your team members might email you about something. You need to be able to reply to those emails as needed. And you're not going to be doing it timely if you don't check your emails daily. So please do that every day. If your schedule doesn't allow for you to really be on timely checking your emails or going on to eCampus daily, I would suggest you consider taking this course in another semester, maybe fall or spring, when there might be an extended period of time to digest the content. But given the amount of time that we have in summer, and also the need to work in groups, it is really essential that you look at and be on top of your the things when it comes to checking your emails and going onto eCampus every day. All right. The other important things when it comes to online environment is that you want to read and write carefully. What does that really mean? Um, in online settings, there is a tendency to write and say things. Sometimes we say things, but we may not really mean certain meanings. Um, we communicate things that we don't necessarily intend to communicate. It's just a part of the online nature. Due to a lack of face-to-face interactions, we lose a lot of communications, and but we make up some of them as we read. We tend to interpret certain things, even though those things may not really be meant to be part of those messages. So when you really write something, when you're responding to your peers or writing something, please read that before you really post, just to make sure that you're really not hurting somebody. You're really not communicating something that you don't want to communicate. And sometimes accidents happens. We say things. That's okay to go and apologize, um, but it's easier actually if we look at what we write before we really submit it, before we post it on online settings. All right, it's just a good practice, not just for this course, but for any kind of online postings that you might have in Facebook or in social media, whatever you use. Just make sure what you say before you say it. All right. So we do have different kinds of assignments in this course. First of all, we have a textbook, right? It's in the syllabus. You're going to be reading certain chapters every week, and you're going to be providing reflections based on your understanding about those chapters. Then you're going to be actually responding to at least one of your peers reflection, reading reflection on eCampus again. It's part of the online discussion. But those chapters that you're going to be reading and writing about would also have some tasks that come with it. Uh, as you read the chapters, you will see, and there will be instructions again, and asking you to read the task in the chapter, which is pretty much an instruction about completing a certain task, which might be reading maybe another journal and answering certain questions, creating your literature review, or choosing the instruments, or for your data collection methodology, your proposal. So those tasks really will help you prepare your proposal toward the end of this course. Uh, they are really not done at the end, but they are really spread out throughout the semester, but for you to and for your teams to really work on it. Like I said, you will be working with the teams while you're providing your reading reflections and responses individually. You will be completing those tasks mainly with your team members. You're going to be working on it, and one of your team members will post the answer or whatever the task is on a campus. Uh, and I also do require each of you to do a kind of peer evaluations. That is a way for me to know if everybody is working in their team the way they're supposed to be working in. In the past, there are cases where some students tend not to work as much, or they don't tend to respond to their peers. So I need to be able to understand those issues before it goes too late in the semester, to make sure that everybody is really working and contributing to those tasks equally. All right. Let me bring up the syllabus and then refer to certain items in there. This is again in your email. I'll send the syllabus there too. Please do review it carefully and let me know if you have any questions. But I'm just gonna uh, give an overview, a very quick overview here. Second. All right. So in the first page, you will see again information about me and this course and our required readings and so forth. Course introduction. I'm not repeating everything here, but you can see the specific learning outcomes here as well. Assignments. The description of assignments are here. On the other hand, we are going to have really detailed descriptions every week regarding the assignments for that week. All right. So on eCampus, you will see those details. But if you want to look at all the assignments and just get an overview, this is where you need to look at it. For instance, self-introduction. It gives an intro saying that in the second of the week, you should introduce yourself on eCampus, and then you're going to provide reading reflections. I mentioned that you're going to be reading chapters and providing reflections about that. This is not a reflection about summary. I mean, summary is different than reflection. I do not want you to summarize the readings. I want you to actually to articulate your thoughts, and make arguments. Maybe picking up some important points that is important from your perspective, that is interesting from your perspective, to talk about it, as opposed to really summarizing every single thing that you read. No, focus on the important things from those readings and bring that to the discussion. All right. And definitely, this is an online course, and one way to really be more active in this course is to make sure that you talk with your peers. So you're required to reply to at least one of your peers, reading reflections day after they post. Like I said, as you read those chapters and writing reading reflections, discussing on eCampus, you will also be completing chapter tasks. Like I said, there are kind of instructions indicated in those chapters. As you read it, you're going to be maybe meeting with your team members to discuss and how you complete those tasks, who's doing what, and so forth. But only one of your team members will post that task on eCampus. Except for the first week, we have a task that everybody does it, but the remaining of the semester, starting in week 2, um, anything about the task will supposed to be completed by only one person. So you're working with a team member, everybody works together, but only one one of your team members will post that task on eCampus on behalf of everybody. All right. I will provide feedback on these activities. If necessary, I might ask you to redo or modify your assignment, your task. Otherwise, you will see your grades and move on to the next week and so forth. You will also, as I said, complete a peer evaluations. For that, I'm going to be sending you a link where you will be able to see your team members, and you're going to be rating them. You're going to be also providing a summary of their performances, and your feedback and everybody's feedback will really impact each other's grades in the scores. So we want to make sure we really work together, as opposed to really not contributing to the team project. Everybody should be able to collaborate and work together to develop that proposal. And for any reasons, if you have any issues that you're not able to meet up certain deadlines, please do communicate to that your team members. Communicate that to me as well, so that we know what's going on. So be in touch with your team members all the time. That's why it's important to be checking your emails, checking eCampus, but also emailing and maybe letting your team members know if there's an issue that you're encountering, that whether you're going to be late completing your part of the task and so forth. In this page, you will see how the grades are allocated to different assignments. There's a late submission policy. If you're late submitting something, you're going to be losing half of the points allocated to that assignment, unless you let me know in advance that hey, there's something coming in, there's some problem with me here, I have a health issue or this and that. You let me know in advance, so that you won't lose points. And here's an information about what happens if you do plagiarize. In graduate courses, I really do not expect this to happen, but in the past it happens, and there are consequences. So you are not to plagiarize, of course, and we know the consequences, but do your best when you're citing resources, when you're writing something, they are your own words as opposed to the words that you find online or in the readings. There are some statements that I'm going to let you read here as your time allows. But most importantly, the schedule part. Will be your guideline in terms of what to finish every week. Starting week one, um, let's see what we're going to do. I ask you to review the syllabus. You definitely do that and email me if you have any questions. Like I said, you will be working with a team, but in order to do that, I'm asking each of you to select a research topic, um, a topic that is interesting to you. So when you click that link, which is also in the email that I'm sending you, you're going to be seeing this Google Doc that lists 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different topics that are important in education. Um, Topics that are worth examining it, doing research about it. These are very broad topics, and which is a good thing, because as a team you can still specify, and you have to specify something more interesting to everybody in there. In this Google Doc, what I want each of you to do is to put your name in a topic that you're interested in. So look at the title, and then look at some guiding questions. For instance, let's look at on the second page. There's a place about diversity. There's some questions: gender equality in education, early childhood, issues that the minoritized populations might encounter, like LGBTQ communities, or how does poverty affect behavior performance in education. So these are some questions that hopefully will be interesting to you. But if there's a topic here, and there should be, I want you to put your name in that area. Only one place, no more than one space. Let's say that if you're interested in this topic called assessment, put your name here. You know, do not delete your peer's name. If there's somebody here that puts the name, don't delete it, but put on the next line. If there are already 3 people who listed their names in a topic, then find another topic. You're not going to have more than 3 person in each team. That's going to be way too much. Although it is important to pick a topic that is interesting, of course, that makes your learning experiences easier and better. What's more important is actually to be able to work with others, as well as to develop a research proposals. So we can do that regardless of the topic, and that's the main goal of this course. And but if there's a topic here that's interesting, and definitely put your name on it, and then uh, once you put your name, you can just close the browser because it will just save it there. You don't need to save or do anything. I will see that information. All right. Going back to syllabus again. So that's what you would do. The second thing you want to do next week is by Wednesday, introducing yourself on eCampus. Let's go to eCampus and let's see what's in there. Um, when you go to eCampus on the main page, you should be able to see links, the course syllabus, and reflections, and so forth. So if you actually click the reading reflections, you will see a list of items that you would do every week in terms of reading reflections. But in this week, I included 2 other stuff there. Number one is introducing yourself. So basically, there's an instruction here. There's an example here. You click and see, that's an example about, introduction about me. Just follow that maybe format. But instead of using a blog, you just answer your questions or introduce yourself in this a campus discussion forum. So all you do is really talk about yourself in 5 nouns or adjectives by following the examples that I just showed. So you just type 5 interesting things about yourself, you know, and then once you're done, just click submit here and it will save it. Okay. There's a reading reflection again, because we have some readings to read and then provide reflections. That's again under reading reflections, right? It makes sense to put it there. Okay, so when you click that, the first one was about introducing yourself. We know that. Second one, well, we kind of talk about that, selecting a research topic. So I'm going to skip that. But the third one here, um, weekly reflection and peer response. It tells you about the chapters that you need to read in your textbook. Read the chapter 1, Introduction to Educational Research, and read the chapter 2, Selecting and Defining a Research Problem. Now, this chapter numbers sometimes might be misleading depending on the edition of the textbook that you have acquired. So instead of just looking at the chapter titles, just make sure that you're reading the right chapter in your textbook, whatever the edition it is. So these different editions of this very same book have different numbering in the chapter titles. That's why make sure you're reading the right chapter, and you would basically check that by looking at the chapter title. All right. So you read those chapters and then post your reflection. Again, I'm not looking into a summary of the chapters, but I'm looking into the important key elements that you identify that you think important or interesting to discuss. You provide your make your post by clicking the create thread button and just type your reflection. You can actually type it in a Word document, which might be easier. And once it's ready, you can copy that and paste that onto this text box. And then click submit, then it will submit your reflection there. All right. And in the same form, you're going to be providing a response to your peer. So that's something you would do as well a day after your post. Most importantly, as you read those chapters, there are, like I said, some tasks that you need to complete. For instance, in chapter 1, there's a task 1A and 1B that you need to complete. So when you look at your textbook and read the chapter, you will be able to read those tasks as well. Just follow those instructions, and that's pretty much it. And then go on eCampus and upload it. So on eCampus, it's if you go to again home, um, it will be under. We are looking for a place where to put our chapter task assignments. It will be under chapter tasks, or the same thing on the left navigation bar too. They go to the same place. So if you click there, chapter tasks, it just tells you, hey, read the chapter one. Yeah, we already read that. And in that chapter, there is a task called 1A and 1B. And there is a kind of relevant performance criteria in that chapter. It will tell you, what exactly you need to do in that chapter. And prepare a Word document. Um, and basically attach that Word document here in this area. So basically, if I'm here, I'm gonna be attaching that Word document that I created, answering those chapter tasks, and then once I attach, I go and submit it, and then it will submit my chapter tasks. All right. So I know that you might not have acquired your textbooks yet, and so I provide the first chapter here. If you click on that, it will bring the first chapter here. Um, and well, at the beginning, it also tells you chapter 1A and 1B. There is a topic. It says identify and briefly state the following for both research studies at the end of this chapter. So at the end of this chapter, there are like two studies. Basically, you're going to be reading that and providing information about each studies regarding their topic, their procedures, their method of analysis, and their conclusions. And there is, in parentheses, there's an information says, see the performance criteria. Do look at those criteria because they will tell you exactly what you're going to need to provide. So if you go to chapter 31, not chapter, I'm sorry, page 31, we should be able to see that performance criteria. 29, 30, 31. There we go. Basically tells you and gives you more detail about what this task is supposed to be. So once you really prepared your answers in a Word document, go ahead and upload it onto eCampus under chapter tasks. You will see the task for the week and just simply attach that Word document here by browsing from your computer and making sure that it's attached and then later submit it, right? Going back to syllabus. So you will see that kind of pattern throughout the entire semester. We have instructions, you'll follow that for week 2, 3, 4, 5, and so forth. Okay? So gonna go back to the presentation, which is basically the end of presentation here. If you have any questions about what I've presented here so far or anything about the assignments, just let me know. An eCampus should be ready starting Monday. Thank you for listening. And again, let me know if you have any questions. Have a good day.